alma mater, Arizona State University, is the first in the country to offer a degree specifically designed for professional content creators or influencers.
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical of this one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet culture, and more. And we're going to talk about a funny story, but there's also some deeper themes here. Apparently, ASU is rolling out as part of its journalism school a content creator degree. Basically, a degree in becoming an influencer. And yeah, you could spend tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to make TikToks or something. It is, of course, going viral with people clowning on it and calling it out for seemingly being absurd. But maybe there's a little bit of a defense to be had for it, but maybe not. We'll go over it all, but first, here's some reporting on the story from Fox News.
You can now go to college to become an influencer. My alma mater, Arizona State University, is the first in the country to offer a degree specifically designed for professional content creators or influencers. The major offers courses like how to become an influencer. Another course is social media foundations. Another one is on-camera presence and podcasting. So the question is college tuition the new price of fame? This is the annual tuition in-state and out-of-state at Arizona State University. By the way, when I went to school, it was $800 a semester, which was amazing.
Honestly, even that tuition number is lower than a lot of places. It's, I think, $15,000 for in-state and $39,000 for out-of-state for ASU. And I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. You don't need to go to college and get tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt, which you'll probably expect us to pay for, a lot of you will at least, in order to become an influencer. It's actually something that you learn by doing it and can learn without, going to an institution. I would love to meet the professors. Who are these boomer professors that are going to teach people on-camera presence? Because some of this is just you either have it or you don't, or you learn by doing. And being an influencer, I am not going to be one of those boomer-sounding people who's like, get a real job. It is a real job. YouTuber is a real job, TikToker is a real job, influencer is a real job. This is a emerging and growing digital economy, and it's a totally legitimate profession. But that doesn't mean that it should become like a professionalized degree program or whatever, especially because what would that degree even get you? You're not applying for jobs. Maybe you could say you're learning skills that will then help you succeed, but you can learn all those skills on YouTube. You could see how-to guides and everything without paying tens and tens of thousands of dollars or taking out huge loans or having your mom and dad break their piggy bank to buy a degree and waste several years where you could actually get going and start creating content, start racking up followers, because it's not like you're going to be applying to a job then. This is my cover letter. I'd like to be hired as a TikTok influencer. That's not how it works. You have to just create a profile and create content, and then it either resonates with an audience or it doesn't. And so I fear a lot of people who spent the time and energy to be pursuing something like this would end up on the other side with not actually a successful career in this and having wasted several years and potentially thousands upon thousands of dollars. But of course, to give the devil their due a little bit here, these are important skills, and I think there is probably a business angle of social media communications or social media marketing or something that could be a useful degree program to have as part of, a business school or a marketing degree or a marketing department or something like that. These are business skills now. Social media is now a business skill. So it's not all frivolous. It's not all cat videos and, oh, you just want to play with your TikTok kids. It actually is something that powers millions of businesses and billions upon billions of dollars in revenue and sales and all this stuff. So I'm not dismissing this stuff as unworthy of study exactly, or as totally unserious pursuits, but I'm not convinced, as someone who is essentially a content creator full time, that you can teach this stuff in a classroom. I mean, I went and looked up some more details about the course. And so here it is, the BA degree in content creation, and it's being offered as part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Communications. And here's the description. Do you dream of monetizing your video channel or making social media your career? Learn to create powerful content across video podcasts, social media, and emerging platforms while building your brand. With hands-on experiences in Phoenix, LA, and online, you'll master the art and science of digital influence. I just don't believe that any of that is something you need to pay a degree program to teach you. I really don't. That doesn't seem like you even could teach it. And then I went and looked at some of the coursework. So I've got it's not a syllabus, the different courses you have to take for this degree: how to become an influencer, studio production, on-camera presence, introduction to editing, videography, photojournalism, podcasting and audio storytelling, non-narrative video storytelling, advanced podcast production, and vocal delivery and presence. Now, some of these things I would actually say I just don't believe can be taught in a class. You have to learn by doing, or you either have or don't have. I'm not really convinced. I mean, anyone could improve their public speaking, but the on-camera presence or the vocal delivery and presence, those kinds of things, I think to have the level of it that it requires to be a full-time creator, essentially a professional yapper, probably requires, anybody could improve it. And that's a good skill to learn and improve and hone. But I think you probably have to have it, right? Or you have to have a pretty high base attribute of that to succeed in this field. Because I don't think you could take a socially awkward person or a stunted person who doesn't have that magnetic personality or that ability to yap and vibe and put them through a course and then come out in the end with, a potential star influencer. I'm just extremely skeptical of that. And then it almost seems like they're teaching too many different things. I mean, you don't need, influencers are almost niche down. It's like you focus on one thing these days. You don't need to know photojournalism to be an influencer. You don't need to know about podcasting and audio storytelling if you're going to be a YouTuber or TikToker. It's like it's all over the place. You don't need to know about advanced technological side of audio and video production to be an influencer. Influencers these days just film on their iPhones and have a wearable mic, or have, a Shure mic you can order and just plug in. It's like they're almost missing the forest for the trees, in that the breadth of course here is so broad that you're learning a bunch of things that wouldn't even be relevant to an influencer or a content creator, like this kind of production stuff that maybe, in advanced cinematography or in certain like advanced media or journalism or entertainment or Hollywood, you need to know all this high-tech stuff, but that's really not the direction of travel in the actual content creator space. And so maybe some of this comes from the fact that the people teaching this are probably going to be like 60 or 50 or even older. They're going to be professors. I would love to meet the professor teaching the how to be an influencer. I really would, because I'm imagining some like old journalism school professor who, had a career in journalism in the 80s and 90s and won a bunch of awards, trying to teach people how to be a news influencer. And it's just like, the idea of spending so much money on that is crazy to me. That said, I will say I do think some of these skills are useful, and it's certainly a lot less ridiculous than many of the degrees that people do get and that our tax dollars do fund. There's these clips that go around where it's like all these people introducing their degrees. Maybe I'll insert one, but it's like, I got my degree in underwater basket weaving with a feminist Marxist lens in the third world. Yeah, it's like, and that's from a custom degree program, I believe, at NYU. But those are the most absurd examples. But obviously they're not, it's just one isolated example. But actually, commonly, people get degrees in absolute pseudoscience and nonsense that are totally, totally not worth the paper they're printed on. Your gender studies degrees, your all sorts of not always, but anytime the degree ends in studies, there's like a 90% chance it's a bullshit degree and it's not worth the paper it's printed on. Just from my experience and from my research and my analysis of all of this stuff, it is typically a red flag, right? Like biology is a real degree. Computer science is a real degree. Even something like English literature is a real degree, though you could question the economic value of it, right? But it's still, a serious pursuit. But anytime it's like studies, it's like sexuality studies, gender studies, race and ethnicity studies, or whatever. This is when you get into the pseudoscience, in my opinion, or oftentimes it's just the political activism and confused ideology masquerading as scholarship is often a red flag. I'm sure there's some legitimate degrees and courses you can find with that verbiage, but I do consider it to be an indicator. So I'll say that it's not like the most useless thing you could study, but I certainly would not be supporting my child, or certainly would not want to cough up tens of thousands of dollars for them to go study for several years in a classroom how to pick up their phone and start making TikToks. I think you learn by doing. You learn these skills on the ground, and I really am very skeptical of this and of the ability of these institutions, which are always like 10 years behind, to actually do something like this, right? Maybe this could have been more useful 5 to 10 years ago, but it's like now the market is so saturated anyway, and everything's constantly changing. The idea that you could sort through this bureaucratic process at a public college and come up with a course that's teaching people skills, because honestly, like the field is so rapidly evolving that by the time you graduated your 4-year degree program, a lot of things would be very different from what you learned and were taught about TikTok in your freshman year. But it changes and evolves constantly. And that's why I think you'd be much better suited to, for example, like somebody who was young and aspiring to go work for a creator, like, and do a low-level job, even as like a production assistant or a social media producer or something, for somebody like me or somebody like anybody in this space, even much bigger. You would learn so much more from that than from 4 years of study at ASU, paying tens of thousands of dollars to become an influencer. Anyway, I thought it was a funny story. I thought it was kind of goofy, but it also is indicative of a broader problem, that when you have this endless money spigot for whatever degrees you can imagine, and taxpayers will, give you subsidized loans regardless of whether your degree is fake and absurd or important and necessary. Like, we need more, nurses and doctors and all this. But also you can also get taxpayer assistance to go study basket weaving. Yeah, the system is broken here, and this is just a kind of funny and isolated example of something that I do think plays into a broader issue and trend. But that's just my take on it. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you aren't yet, do hit the like button. And I don't have any degree qualifying me to be an influencer. I'm sorry, I don't. I do have a degree in economics and political science. I don't have an influencer degree, so maybe you shouldn't subscribe. Maybe I'm not worthy of it. No, jokes aside, if you want to support my content, do consider becoming a channel member by hitting the join button or clicking the link in the pinned comment. It's the best way to support me, and I do need all the support I can get, because I try to be independent and honest, and I'm not on, Team Red or Team Blue, or just shilling or to one side or pandering to one base. So I do need support from viewers like you who appreciate that and want to be part of this community. Thanks to those of y'all who are already signed up, and we'll leave it there for now. Be back with more real soon.